Welcome to SED 390 Assessment 2 Instruction. In this video, we will be discussing the key assignments that comprise SED 390. In each field-based course, there is an essential application that is worth 40% of your grade. The essential application that is in 390 is the evidence-based practice. While completing the evidence-based practice, you will first choose a focus learner in your classroom. Once you have chosen your learner, you will complete the ISEL, which is basically just like a brain dump of all of the information that you currently know about your learner. Once you've completed the ISEL, you are going to come up with a RIOT assessment plan. RIOT stands for Review of Records, Interview, Observe, and Test. So you're basically going to come up with a plan of what records you plan to review, who you plan to interview, where you plan to observe your student, and what tests you plan on giving to your student. You will then complete all of those pieces, reviewing the records, interviewing, observing, and testing, and take all of that data and analyze it within the RIOT matrix, which will then hopefully help you to come up with an intervention to address the area of concern that you have. We will meet for a pre-plan meeting where you will discuss with me what intervention you have chosen, how you plan to implement it, what reinforcement plan you will be putting in place for your student, as well as how you plan to collect data. Once you are given the okay at the pre-plan meeting, then you will complete a commentary, which goes a little bit more in depth in discussing the intervention, tying it into research and theory, talking about the implementation, as well as your reinforcement schedule and your data collection methods. We will not actually be completing the intervention or performing the intervention with the focus learner that you have chosen, because during the student teaching portion of this semester, you will be completing something that is very similar to the intervention implementation and data collection process. So we will stop at you just explaining the intervention and implementation to me via the commentary. The next piece of key assignments in SED 390 is proficiency plans. You will be submitting one proficiency plan in SED 390, which is worth 15% of your grade. We will be going over in detail how to plan and how to complete proficiency plans in class so that you are best prepared to submit this proficiency plan in SED 390. The next piece is ongoing planning, which is worth 15% of your grade. Each week, you will be required to teach one plan in your classroom. ISU has a policy where you need to be planned at least 2 days in advance. You will be writing and uploading your plans into OneNote. Your supervisor then will be going into OneNote to check on your ongoing planning to make sure that you are submitting your plans in advance and that you are keeping track of the data from those plans. You will then receive points on a rubric for ongoing planning for every notebook check that occurs. You'll be well aware of when notebook checks are happening. This is not going to be a surprise. The next piece is the initial structured observation, which is worth 10% of your grade. You will complete this prior to writing any lesson plans for your classroom. You basically will be observing the teacher in your classroom and completing a series of questions and interviewing that teacher on some of the decision making in the lesson and asking questions that you might have about the lesson that occurred. You'll be completing this and submitting it where your supervisor will grade it, and like I said, it is worth 10% of your grade. The next piece is weekly reactions, and those are worth 10% of your grade. Each week, you will complete a weekly reaction along with the teacher in your classroom. The teacher in your classroom will be submitting the top portion of the weekly reaction, basically commenting on your positives and strengths of the week, and then maybe giving some suggestions for future lessons. You then will be completing the other portion of the weekly reaction where you discuss positives and strengths that you saw during the lesson that you taught, as well as anything that you might want to work on going forward. These will be submitted weekly and they will be submitted to OneNote, and this will also be something that your supervisor is grading and keeping track of. The last piece of the key assignments in module activities is module activities, and those are worth 10% of your grade. Each week in class, we will be completing a module activity. Sometimes they will pertain to SED 390, sometimes they will pertain to the other courses. Whatever module activity pertains to SED 390 will be going into your SED 390 grade. Module activities are worth 5 points, and there is a rubric scale that will be shown to you each week so that you know exactly what is expected of you. Module activities will connect back to topics that we are discussing for the week. So for example, if we are discussing the evidence-based practice, and we're talking about possibly some sort of implementation method or data collection method, you might have a cooperative module activity that you work with peers in class prior to module ending that you will receive up to 5 points for. All module activities are done in class. Thank you for going through this video. I hope you learned about SED 390. Please let me know if you have any questions. We are always happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.